26. Director Somerset, please call the roll. Here.
Vice Chair Smith. Present. Commissioner Barrios.
Here.
Commissioner Carter.
Here.
Commissioner Travis.
Here.
Good deal. Commissioner Farron has an excused absence. Commissioner Astos.
Here.
And we have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Please remember when you speak today to mute and unmute on this little green button here. I think it is green when you are live and red when you are not. All right. And if you are on the phone, please press *6 to unmute. We are hosting this meeting in person and virtually. Please mute your microphone or phone when not speaking. And if everybody in the audience could please mute their phones too, we would really appreciate it. Thank you. Before we proceed, I would like to take a moment to recognize the passing of one of our colleagues, Commissioner Tellez, who served with dedication and commitment for over 10 years. I would like to ask everyone to join me in a moment of silence in her honor. Thank you. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge recent changes on our commission membership. We extend our appreciation to Bob and Robert for their service and wish them well in their future endeavors. This brings me to welcome our newest member, Trina Travis, representing the Division of Blind Services. Welcome, Commissioner Travis. I didn't know if you wanted to introduce yourself or push those. You've got to push them. There you go.
Hello, I'm Trina Travis, as you said, representing the Division of Blind Services. I'm happy to be here with you all today.
Thank you and welcome. All right, now we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America. Thank you. This is a public meeting and operates under Florida's Government in the Sunshine Law. This meeting is being recorded and all verbal, written, and chat comments will be part of the public record. For those participating virtually, please mute your lines when not speaking. If you are experiencing technical difficulties, please indicate that in the chat and staff will assist you. They are live monitoring. Commissioners participating virtually are reminded not to communicate privately with one another to ensure compliance with Sunshine Law via the chat. All right, so we will now open the floor for public comment on today's agenda items. We have received several emails in advance of today's meeting expressing support for Wakulla Transportation. To ensure everyone has the opportunity to be heard, public comments will be limited to 2 minutes per speaker. That will be timed and you will hear alarm go off. We appreciate your understanding and cooperation. Comments must be limited to agenda items and kept concise and respectful. When called, please state your name, organization, if applicable, and county of residence for the record. We will begin with individuals who have submitted public comment forms. Do you want these first that you just handed me? Okay. So first we have, so I was going to do it how they came in. You'd rather me do it this way?
They asked for those 2 individuals to be first and second.
Okay. Okay, so first I'm being asked to call Sean Gellis.
Testing. Okay. Thank you. My name is Sean Gellis. I'm with Gellis Law P LLC. I'm an attorney. I live in Wakulla County, and I happen to represent Wakulla Transportation. I'm going to try to be brief I'd ask for a little bit of discretion. I'm just going to address some of the procurement issues on the time. So a little background about me. From 2020 to 2021, I was the general counsel of FDOT in central office. I've also served as the DMS chief of staff. I'm a procurement lawyer and a bid protest lawyer. I'm here today to talk about some errors and issues with the bid, of which Wakulla Transportation was not awarded. There was an error made, and you all here didn't make it, but you have the opportunity to correct it. Now, it is true my client chose not to file a protest. However, that was done at the time based on information it received from the agency that it believes was incorrect about the nature of the protest bond amount and whether they got to keep the funds, but I'll move on from that. Another issue that's unusual in a procurement is that the local coordinating board actually recommended against the award to Big Bend Transportation. The agenda's background information states that the LCB is responsible for reviewing and approving the MOA, but it says that it does not include approving the planning agency's recommendation. And I'm not sure how you reconcile those statements. The commission should consider that the ultimate entity responsible for approving the contract has recommended against it. I'd also note there's no mention of this recommendation of disapproval at all in Director Rito's March 27th letter to the commission. Now, getting to the bid issues, the major things here, actual procurement problems. First, the score sheets don't even have names on them. They're not signed and they have no names. We can't tell who scored what. It's impossible. That's a little unusual in a procurement. Second, the awarded vendor received 2 perfect scores from 2 of 3 of the members. That's highly unusual. In fact, I'm going to tell you why it's actually impossible in light of what they submitted. Section C6 of the bid specifications required the submittal of the most recent financial audit conducted by a certified CPA. Big Bend Transit, according to my client and all the records they've reviewed, did not submit any such audit. They didn't do it. Nevertheless, they got 2 perfect scores.
Do you have someone else who will yield their time to you? Okay.
Testing. All right. Thank you very much. Big Bend Transit did not submit this audit. In order to win a bid, you have to be both responsive and responsible. Anyone who does procurement knows that. How can you be responsible when you did not submit the financial information required in the bid? They should have been deemed non-responsive. But again, they got 2 perfect scores. Section A2 of the bid required the names and resumes of the general manager and operations manager. Upon information and belief from my client, Big Bend Transit did not submit any resumes. Despite this, they got 2 perfect scores from 2 evaluators when they did not comply with the bid specifications. Again, they should have been deemed non-responsive. Section E3 of the bid specifications asked if the vendor demonstrated experience in the transportation of mobility devices and non-emergency medical transfers that may involve stretcher support. On 2 or 3 of the score sheets, they got perfect scores. They don't offer those services. Got perfect scores anyway. In another example, my client received a 2 on a question of whether they provided the minimum liability insurance required by law. It's a yes, no. It's a pass, fail. How do you get a 2 when they provided it? It doesn't make any sense. So what we would ask is that this commission do what they're authorized to do, reject all bids and resolicit. Correct these bid specification issues. Make it clear what is required in the bid. Make it clear what you have to submit to move forward. Correct the score sheets. Have the names of the scorers on there so we know who scored what. Look at the score sheets for yourselves, guys. It's not there. We're having to try to piece together who scored what by trying to do handwriting analysis samples. It shouldn't be like that. A mistake was made. This commission can fix it. Reject all bids and ensure the competition is fair and open. That's the standard. I'm not here to talk about who does better services. I'm here to talk about the process. The process was flawed. My client did not protest timely, but that doesn't mean they're without recourse. This commission should reject all bids, resolicit, fix the bid specifications, and allow fair and open competition. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have, who was it that yielded their time to you, by the way? Oh, I have that. For the record, just what is your name, sir, for the record? Okay. Okay. Second on the list, we have John Schuff.
Thank you for allowing us to represent ourselves today. And Sean you really pretty much hit everything, about half of what I wanted to say. But yeah, just to kind of elaborate a little bit, you had.
Sorry to interrupt you. Will you please tell us who you're with and give us the information at the beginning, just for the record?
Oh, my information? I'm John. My name is John Schuff, and I'm chairman of the board of the Senior Citizens Council.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
There were a number of things in the process that Sean was talking about that we thought was highly irregular. One of the ones that he just mentioned, that two of the judges to give perfect scores to one of the applicants all the way down the line. But then then the simple yes or no questions. Do you have liability insurance or not? That's a 6 or a 0. Do you have an audit or not? That's a 6 or a 0. Those particular two questions in the application cost us 32 points by the judges, the tally of the three judges' scores. And there one of the questions that seemed to encourage points for larger systems that use subcontractors. We don't use subcontractors, but what should be important here is the quality of the service, not how you decide to perform the service. That cost us 10 points. There's another question in there that was irrelevant about whether or not either of the applicants had a stretcher transport vehicle. Neither one of us did. It cost Wakulla County 12 points, again, in erratic scoring by the justices. We were also evaluated on the length of time to acquire a bus, the buses that we get through FDOT grants. We have the buses that we need to transport our citizens, and we think provide an excellent level of service for them. All of our buses come through a Shirley Conway grant through FDOT. We have no control over that timeline. We've been waiting on our next bus for.
Thank you. Next, we have Gary Brown. You're yielding your time? Next, we have Sarandra Farrell. Yield your time, okay. Sonia Yara-Nix. Just as a reminder, state your name and who you're with, if you can, please.
Hola, and thank you for letting me speak. My name is Sonia Guerra-Nix. I've been a happy and content Wakulla County citizen for a little over 20 years. And in that, Wakulla Transport has been a blessing. Olvídate de otro. Forget about another. Moving from Miami, Wakulla Transportation is one of the many blessings I'm grateful for. Truly personal service with corazón, with heart. Heart because they see us, not just another rider. Students, families, and definitely our seniors depend on this. Needed trips to Tallahassee would be impossible for many of us. We'll call it transportation. Personal, dependable. Olvídate de otro, forget about another. There is no difference in the details in their driving. All are careful and all are cared for. Olvídate de otro, forget about another. Because Wakulla loves Wakulla Transportation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jacqueline LaFrange.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline LaFrange, and I'm a citizen of Wakulla County, and I use Wakulla Transportation, and I go to the senior center. And I honestly think that it's awful that people who don't live or work in Wakulla County and do not use the Wakulla Transportation are being allowed to decide such an important decision as to which public transportation system Wakulla County will have. Any public transportation system can take people to their destination, but no other does things that Wakulla Transportation does for their riders. For example, 1, help riders to and from the buses with mobility aids, groceries, etc. when needed. 2, make additional stops on route. 3, take riders to other counties outside the Metro Leon County area for medical, professional, and legal appointments, including Panama City, Jacksonville, Gainesville, etc. 4, will not leave when rider does not come out until they know that rider is okay and truly no longer needs the ride. 5, they notice and report if rider needs medical care, being abused, notice home needs like a serious home repair, like a rotten porch or stairs, damage to roof, etc. 6, meet people at door with an umbrella when it rains.
Thank you. Next, we have Rachel Peck.
Hello?
No? Okay.
Do you hear me?
Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you hear me? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
My name is Rachel Peck. I live in Wakulla County. My son Nathaniel has special needs. He's 22. He relies on Wakulla Transportation several times a week. And without it, his independence, his dignity, and future are at risk. And I'm here today to implore you to not approve of Big Bend's transit takeover of Wakulla Transportation. For my family, the decision you make today is not theoretical. It's not about scores. It's a matter of daily reality. And Nathaniel's ability to work, to contribute to his community, and to feel proud of himself depends on Wakulla Transportation. Because of their service, he has perfect attendance at Publix. And as a mom who works, and I have to go out of state several times, it's so important to know that he's safe and he's supported. And what makes his service exceptional isn't just the logistics, it's the people who care. Nathaniel knows all the drivers by name. Jennifer, who handles scheduling, she reaches out to me personally if there's any issues. Their level of communication and trust is rare, and it changes lives. And replacing them with Big Bend Transit is not a risk that I feel like our family or our community should have to take. And seriously, if you talk to families with loved ones in the same shoes in different counties like Leon, it's not pretty, some of the stories you hear. And I understand that Big Bend might have a higher score in a certain evaluation, but if you truly listen to those who rely on this service every day, you will hear a story of trust, reliability, and community that cannot be replaced by a higher score on a paper. We've heard promises that service levels will be maintained or improved, but respectfully, the bar is already high. And Wakulla Transportation is more than reliable. It's communicative and effective. It's a lifeline. It's not a system that needs to be fixed, but one that sets the standard. Thank you.
Testing the mic. Can anyone hear me?
We can hear you now.
Recommend the presenter to check the chat. It looks like there's no one hearing anything.
We'll see that mix.
He's got to dial in again.
Okay. I think somehow we got muted on the Teams meeting. And I couldn't unmute it, so I'm just gonna call into the meeting again, and it should be unmuted. Uh-uh. No, neither. Public Service Commission.
You are now joining the meeting. This meeting is being recorded and transcribed.
Just click the link.
Test, can anybody on Teams hear this microphone now?
I hear it.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very clear right now.
Can you confirm that they can hear us too, please?
Yes, we confirm we can hear.
You need to get back.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That's okay. We just want to put you on the spotlight for a little while.
Will one of you please go outside and let them know that we are back on, because I know I saw a couple people walk out there. Okay. Ms. Merritt, I'm very sorry. I will give you 2 minutes for you to restart. And again, I apologize. Yes.
Okay. Are you ready?
I am. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. As I said, I am a citizen and a rider of Wakulla Transportation. I have used them for about 15 years. They pick me up at my home to take me to whatever we have to go, no matter where it is, to the doctor, to the Walmart, to a grocery store, to the pharmacy, anywhere. I have no other transportation. Now, I know most of the drivers. No, I know all the drivers. And like I said, when I fell at Hardee's and had to go to the emergency room, they picked up my chair. I know Big Bend would not do that. And it's a long ride to Tallahassee from Crawfordville. And I've heard you can't even talk to the Big Bend drivers. But with the Wakulla Transportation drivers, you can talk to them. They know us and we know them. And this is a service that is invaluable to me. And it's invaluable to a lot of the citizens here. We need to, I mean, it wasn't even fair that we as Wakullans didn't even get to vote on who took away our transportation. We didn't know about it until at the Transportation Board meeting. And I am a member of the Transportation Board meeting where we go over all the rides and everything, all the logistics of what goes on at the meeting, on the transportation, I should say. So I think we deserve another chance to keep what was working great and doing good for everybody in the county.
They want to win the contract.
And I don't know what else to say except for, can you just go over this information again? Because we really like our transportation. We haven't had any problems with it. And being in a wheelchair, they make sure that you're strapped in, you're picked up on time, and you get where you're going, and they don't leave you until you're in the building that you need to go to.
Thank you, Ms. Harris. We are going back to Barbara Hart.
You got it? I think you're good. We're good. We can get you right here if you want to.
I have not been through a Joan. What?
We're fine.
Nope, she went.
I think we're going to, our general counsel asked if she could speak again, but we'll let you go first because the people online could not hear you the last time you were speaking.
You all, it's being recorded. Do you not have live transcription on that you could paste that into the chat, please?
You can sit. Are you sure you're good?
I can do it.
Okay.
And I'll have to hold on.
Okay.
Let me just grab. Good afternoon. It's a privilege and honor to be here with you. The agency and autonomy, privacy, flexibility of people who are challenged seems to evaporate once we recognize that we are challenged. We have to go through agencies, through family members, but the Wakulla Senior Transportation System allows us to have all of those. I get to make my own decisions. I get to negotiate with the people at the agency. I get to make decisions. These are wonderful, wonderful privileges. They are rights of every citizen of this country, but rights that are taken away by institutions and systems that are hierarchical. The more hierarchical, the more rigid. Less flexibility is particularly problematic for those of us who are handicapped, whatever the handicap may be, because we lose our right to make decisions. Because somebody else starts making decisions for us, whether it's the decisions that are made by the rules of the hierarchical institution or the family members that find it convenient to make those decisions for us based on what the institutions easily provide. We want the Wakulla transportation system to remain where it is so that we, the consumers, can make those decisions in consultation with the staff, who are some of the most gracious, listening, caring folks I've ever known. I come from, as you can tell, from the north. And I come from Washington, D.C. and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and other large places where the institutions get in. Our ability. Don't take it away from us. Let us work with Jennifer and all the wonderful staff of this agency to retain the rights that we have as citizens, to figure out how are we going to manage our lives without interference in institutions or those close to us. Wakulla has done this for me. I've been here 9 years, and I must say this system here has permitted me access that I would not otherwise have. So thank you for this opportunity. Please preserve this wonderful institution and don't change it. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. I have a Michael Keith Argwat. Okay. Oh. You all, as a reminder, please, if you're online, mute your line. We're getting a lot of feedback in the room.
That was her talking.
We can hear you.
Hi, my name is Mike. I'm Michael Baggett, and I moved down here 2001 after my mother passed away. After I started coming down here, the transportation I picked up, they did wonders for me. Brought me to the doctors, brought me back and forth, and most of the time I had fun over at the center. But not just to talk about the center, but the transportation. They're doing a good job, and I'm having fun with everybody. And without the center, I wouldn't be doing anything. Be sitting home, moving, nothing to do. But as far as I'm saying, the center, they're helping everybody out. They're getting things done on time, and having a good time right there. And most of all the people that I knew are still down there and over here. And every day I'd be waiting, getting dressed, 4 o'clock in the morning, even though I'm retired. I said, all right, all set to go. But everybody else was in bed. But to tell me, I enjoy the transportation. I know all the names. I help the other people that can't get around. Me, I'm the clown around the center right there. But I help them all out, make sure things are going right. And when they have packages, heavy packages, I help them get it down. Now, everybody, like I said, the center, everybody knows them, one another. And I know them, they know me. And I help them out. And when we go out dancing, I try to slow down. But that's just
Thank you. Is there another Barbara Hart or? No, okay. Arlene
Williams
Vaught?
shot down the planners over in the planning department on one of those
Can you all please
on one of those
mute the
contact
line?
classifications. I'm glad he did, because man, that's so toughy out there, the I-75 state road.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity to speak today. Wakulla Transportation is working great for all of us and meeting all of our needs. I have ridden other transportation systems in Tallahassee, including Big Bend, and Wakulla Transit is the very best. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would rate them a 10. I talked with some of my friends who ride Big Bend Transit, and they say they have made improvements because they used to be pretty mediocre when I rode them, but they still need improvement, they said. Just because 3 people who don't ride the system rated some of the services on paper higher doesn't mean in reality that they are better. The citizens of Wakulla are getting exactly what we need and from Wakulla Transportation. There are people that have doctor's appointments in Gainesville and Panama City, and Wakulla takes them, but Big Bend does not offer that. Scheduling concerns are that we can make, with Wakulla Transportation, we can make our doctor's appointments rides like 2 months ahead of time. With Wakulla Transit, you can't, with Big Bend, you can't do that. And it's only a week ahead. And then what are you going to do if they say you can't ride, And it would be a big loss for Wakulla County to lose Wakulla Transportation through the Senior Center. Thank you for your consideration for what the riders and citizens of Wakulla want and need.
Thank you. Danita Pope.
Hey, my name is Danita Pope, and I'm a Wakulla County citizen and transportation disadvantaged rider. Transportation through the Wakulla Senior Center is an excellent service. It has been for 35 years. It runs very smoothly, and the staff and drivers are very good, professional, friendly, helpful. They get us to appointments on time. It's extremely easy to contact the scheduler by phone. I've seen complaints that it is sometimes difficult to contact Big Bend by phone. Wakulla Transportation, as people said, provides transportation to doctor's appointments in Gainesville, Jacksonville, Marianna, Panama City, a lot of places, and Big Bend does not provide that service. And that's something that my husband uses, and it's very important to us, and it's important to his health. We have no other way to get to his appointment in Gainesville. Big Bend Transit charges both way for a trip, there and back, while Wakulla Transportation only charges one fare for the total trip. Also, Wakulla Transportation allows a personal attendant to ride with you if you need help, like getting around or communicating or something, and they do not charge for the personal attendant. If Big Bend charges for them, that would double the fare. Wakulla Transportation does allow us to schedule the appointments way ahead, so we're guaranteed that we know we'll be able to get there. Instead of finding out at the last minute we wouldn't be able to. Wakulla Transportation provides flexibility in their schedule, too, that if a patron finishes their appointment early, and it's possible, the schedule is readjusted to pick us up, and so we don't have to wait as long to return home. Big Bend serves 7 counties now. I guess Wakulla will be 8. And is that time up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You can finish your sentence.
Anyway, we were just concerned that Big Bend, won't provide the necessary resources for a small county, and Wakulla already has these great services in place. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Gary Miley. If anybody would like the microphone brought to them, we will do that. That's offered. Let us know.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Gary Miley. I live in McCullough. I live in Crawfordville. McCullough Senior Center is my home 4 days a week, all year long. I do not use the transportation. I have been blessed with decent health. But as I look at the council, I do not see how you could possibly understand, because of your ages, what it is like for a lonely senior citizen needing the compassion and the understanding of your constituents of the same age. I've been at the senior center and I sit by the door where the passengers come and go and the drivers come and go. And I get this opportunity to observe the interaction between the patients and the constituents and the drivers. And I see a tremendous amount of compassion and understanding and patience, a lot of patience with my friends and family here from the senior center. I would also just like to say in the end here is like, it's an old adage, if it ain't broke, why fix it? And I appeal to you to reconsider Wakulla Transportation as the provider for Wakulla County. Thank you very much.
Yep. I think it's Mini Herb. I apologize if I got your name wrong.
It's an unusual one. Hello. Mim Herb, ERB, MIMERB. I'm a resident of Wakulla County. And much of my comments I had planned to say have already been covered. My number one concern is the scoring process. The 3 panel who decided Big Ben got the perfect score. I think that needs to be reevaluated, looked at, number one. That's my biggest concern. After that, what you've heard from everybody else here speaking, Wakulla County, old Florida people, the friendships and things that have developed with the passengers, the drivers, what you see going on every day, that is a beautiful thing. And I hate to see it have to change because 3 people decided Big Bend was the perfect thing for Wakulla County, just like Leon County and 7 or more surrounding counties where Big Bend is providing the service. How big is too big? And I have a history. I had a career in transportation back in Pennsylvania where I live, ran a private nonprofit paratransit service for the seniors and disadvantaged in the county. It too was taken over by the big transit authority in that area. The service suffered greatly. The clients were so unhappy because of the lack of the personal touch to the small system that we had with the private nonprofit. When big business takes over, you lose so much of the personal touch. Wakulla County doesn't want to lose that. What we have works beautifully. And like we said, if it's not broke, why fix it? Please keep Wakulla Transportation Service serving the clients of Wakulla County. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have Gary Brown.
My name's Gary Brown. I've lived in Wakulla County for over 20 years.
I've been going to the senior center for about 3 years now. I do not drive because of medical reasons. They have, what you say, Johnny on the spot. Never had a problem. They're A1 place to want to be. Wakulla County is voted like #1, the best county in the state of Florida. Yay for us. School systems are great. It's a great place to live. Could I just see a show of hands of how many people are here from Big Bend right now? One? We got one. So that just goes to show what they have for people that want to represent them. I don't see them. Just like everybody's saying, don't mess up a good thing. Thank you.
Next, we have Rosemary Foster.
Hi, my name is Rosemary Foster, and I've been in Florida. I come from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and 3 years ago we moved down to Florida. My brother and sister-in-law lives here. I have a handicapped son, and I'm also handicapped. We were all alone when we rented our first place. And no money, no food. Someone told me to call the Wakana Transportation and they might be able to help. That was the most God-given gift I ever received. They not only come, they delivered us food without charge. They emergency doctor's appointment that I had to take my grandson to. They took me. They filled me in. They took me. I don't think any other place that has the compassion and the love of God that could do any better than Wakulla County Transportation. I love them very much. Thank you.
Michael Clanahan. I had others give their time, so if you would like to say something, you can, or you can yield your time. That's up to you. No pressure. I don't want you to. Okay.
My name is Michael Clanahan, and I just am going to agree with everybody that spoke up here about how great the Wakulla County Transportation people are. Not just the drivers, but all the way up. And I had a question to ask. Does Big Bend plan on putting a permanent place in Wakulla County, or are they going to have to come back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? I'm just curious about that. And I know you can't answer that. Maybe you can. I don't know. But when I sit down, if you have an answer, go ahead and do that. But they're not local. All these people that we deal with here are local, love us, and we love them. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Russell.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. First of all, a couple of things. It should be noted the chairwoman and I are not related, although we have the same last name. She's obviously smarter than I am. And Ms. Farrell has yielded her time in case I run over. So thank you. Chris Russell, 92 Pimlico, Carpenterville, Florida. So I'm here to speak on the support of awarding this contract to Wakulla Transportation. And I can come from different angles. I was a board member years ago, and when I was young, folks were like, why would you do that? I did it because we care about seniors, right? I can come as a board member of the Chamber of Commerce and talk about the jobs that will be lost here and the impact they'll have. I can come as a taxpayer and talk about how our county commission gave 6 figures last year in the budget to Wakulla Senior Center to help with transportation. Those are all facts that are there, and it just shows that this is a really much needed organization, and the way it's been run very well. It's been proven, it's been shown in seniors, consistency and continuity helps with their mental and physical well-being. Here's an opportunity to keep the consistency and the continuity. There's no sense bringing undue duress to them by having this change. Change is good. It's not the time for change. Let's move forward, and I believe it's in your power to award the contract to Wakulla County Transportation. My apologies if that's not correct. I've known Mr. Rito over 2 decades. He's a great guy. I disagree with him on this situation right here. You know, the real takeaway is, well, and let me ask who else I disagree with, Mr. Gillis and Mr. Shuff. No more rebidding. Let's go ahead and award the contract today to Wakulla County Transportation. So, you know, there's no harm in moving forward and awarding that. Is that my 2 or 4 minute? 2?
That's 2.
So we got 2 more minutes. We're halfway. This is halftime. So that's all right. I'm going to bring this plane into a landing. First of all, I applaud y'all being up there, and thank you for taking the time. The easiest and safest thing for y'all to do today is say, you know what? They could have protested. We're going to go ahead with the recommendation of the ARPC. That's what you could do. Mr. Gillis inferred why they didn't protest. You know, that originally they were going to. I don't know the particulars of that. I've not been privy to this issue. It only came about recently in my domain, and I just know how great a job Wakulla Transportation's been doing, and I know how much our seniors need it, and our citizens all aboard. So I'll just close by saying this. You know, you are the Commission for Transportation Disadvantaged, correct? Look at this room. Look who showed up. Madam Chairwoman, I think you alluded to, if I'm not mistaken, this may be the biggest crowd you've seen. I'm not sure if I got that right early on. My apologies. I think that's a true testament to the love, the care, the happiness, the continuity that we have with Wakulla Transportation. I would implore you today to vote to award that contract to Wakulla Transportation. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Laura Edwards.
Do I have some extra time on the, as far as minutes go? If I had 2, I won't take a bunch of your time, of course, but 4 minutes would be nice.
I think we did. We had
a couple?
3 people yield their time. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good afternoon, Commissioners. I thank you so much for being here. There's not a lot. I basically just crumbled up my my speech because everybody said everything that I could have possibly said. This is your constituency from Wakulla County. And I just want to implore to you that, you know, as Commissioners for Transportation Disadvantaged, we've been doing the service for 35 years. And every quarter, we get an A+ rating from ARPC. There's no complaints. There's no accidents. I mean, our ridership is up 100% over the past 5 years. Our drivers, our employees know our community like no other. We are more than points on a scorecard. We are people. We are a provider, and we've been doing it well and successfully for a very long time. So I just implore you to take into consideration everything everyone here has said. And as far as the protest, we did file a notice to protest. We had to think about it. We had to take into consideration the money that would be spent. We had to take into consideration the possible any effects it might have on our ridership come July when the new grant begins. So there was a lot of back and forth. But the reason we decided not to go with the formal protest, even though we had the information, as y'all have heard, was because we didn't want to, at the time, with the information we had, we were told it would inconvenience our riders, which is something, as you see, they depend on us exponentially for their scheduling, for their doctor's appointments, for all their travels. And we did not want to impact our riders like that. On a closing note, I just wanted to show to you, and I know as a commission, I'm also an elected official, I have 642 signatures right here. And this this is 98% of our riders. So you have 98% of our riders, which is just under 700, that signed this is their original signatures opposing the appointment of Big Bend Transit as our transportation coordinator for Wakulla County. I thank y'all. We're depending on y'all to represent your constituency, and I thank you.
Thank you. May I ask you one, can you tell me more about you said that you were told that something would happen if you did file?
Let's put it this way, the guidance we were given initially, we're a nonprofit, we're probably one of the few senior centers that also run a transportation, they're also a transportation coordinator. So when it came to the protest, the original guidance we were given at the time through a local attorney, not the attorney that represented us today, I wish I'd met him a few weeks ago, but was that the process would delay the transition and, cause an imposition to our riders. And so, and then the funding and the bond were also another consideration. As a nonprofit, we watch every dollar, that we bring in. And it was for the better, at that point in time, it was really, the decision was made for the betterment of our riders. We didn't want to inconvenience the system, even though it might, jeopardize us.
You filed the notice of intent.
We did file the notice of intent. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other commissioners have questions?
We appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have no more speaker cards. Do we have any requests on the chat? Okay. Thank you. All right, so thank you to everyone who provided comments. We appreciate your participation very much. I did want to ask, do we have someone from the ARPC here?
Yes, we do.
Are you willing and able to come up to the podium?
Clinton, do you want Clinton to speak now?
Is he scheduled to speak more formally? Oh, okay, never mind then. Not yet. Where does that come next? Okay. No, I go into approval of minutes. Where's
right
in the new business section? Okay.
Right.
Okay, so how this is going to work now is we go back to the agenda. We do some business. So you all spoke. So we're going to do some approval of things, and then we will go into the new business section, which is where we will actually debate and hear your topic. So everybody is aware of what's happening. So we're not moving on. We will come back to that part. All right. So first we have to do the approval of the December 8th, 2025 meeting minutes. Our next item is approval of the minutes from December 8th, 2025. Commissioners, you received these in advance. Are there any corrections or comments? Seeing none, if there are no objections, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Do I have a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Moving on. So next, we will now move to the Community Transportation Coordinator designations. These recommendations come before the Commission following a procurement and evaluation process conducted by the designated planning agency in accordance with state requirements. The Commission's role is to consider each recommendation based on the information included in our meeting package, along with the presentations provided by each planning agency. So first, we will hear from Pentwin Eastburg with Appalachia Regional Planning Council, who will present recommendations for Calhoun, Franklin, Gulf, and Wakulla counties. Although these counties will be presented together, the Commission will take a separate vote on each recommendation. So our first is Calhoun.
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you, and good afternoon. Thank you all for having me. Again, my name is Quentin Eastburg. I'm the Deputy Director with the Appalachia Regional Planning Council. We have a 9-county region, and our job as a planning agency is to, every 5 years, obviously, as you know, solicit recommendations for the CTC in our respective counties. The first one I have for you is Calhoun County. Background on this, on Wednesday, January 14th, the Appalachia Regional Planning Council issued a request for interest qualifications to serve as a CTC in Calhoun County. The advertisement was submitted through the Florida Administrative Register on the ARPC's website and circulated through the local newspaper. Deadline to submit the response was Wednesday, January 28th. We received one response. That was Calhoun County Senior Citizens Incorporated, doing business as Calhoun County Transit, who is the current CTC. Upon review, it was determined that the applicant complied with all statutory and code requirements and had the experience, qualifications, integrity, and reliability to serve as the CTC. In February, the ARPC received permission from Commission staff to move forward with negotiations with the sole responding entity, and at the March board meeting for the ARPC on March 26th, the enclosed ARPC Resolution 26-04 that recommends Calhoun County Senior Citizens Incorporated, doing business as Calhoun County Transit, to serve as CTC is in your packet for your review.
Are there any questions for Mr. Eastberg? If not, is there a motion to approve the recommendation? Again, this is just Calhoun County. And you received one respondent, correct?
We only received one, yes, ma'am.
I make a motion to approve.
I second. All in favor? Please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next is Franklin County.
Yes, ma'am. So for this one, I'm going to go back just a little bit further for some background. In June of 2025, the CTC at the time informed the planning agency staff and the commission staff that they would no longer be able to serve as CTC in Franklin County in order to provide the necessary continuation of services for the county's transportation disadvantaged population. An emergency designation took place. Big Bend Transit was designated for a 12-month emergency period beginning July 1, 25 and ends this June 30th. Following the emergency period, a standard procurement process would take place to designate CTC in Franklin County service area. And this kind of goes back, our timeline was pretty much identical to that of Calhoun County. On Wednesday, January 14th, 2026, we issued an RFQ for Franklin County. Announcement was advertised in the FAR, the ARPC's website, and local newspaper. Deadline to submit was also January 28th. We received one response. That was Big Bend Transit, Inc. They are operating as the current emergency designation for Franklin County. Upon review, again, it was determined the applicant complied with all statutory and code requirements and had the experience, qualifications, integrity, and reliability to serve as a CTC in Franklin County. We received permission from the commission staff back in February to move forward with a single responding entity. And as such, we've enclosed ARPC Resolution 26-05 in your packet, recommending Big Bend Transit for the CTC in Franklin County.
Thank you. So again, you only received one respondent for Franklin County.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are there any questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the recommendation?
I'll motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. So all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next, we will do Gulf County.
Yes, ma'am. And if I could just do a control copy and control paste for this one. Back in 2025, the same CTC for Franklin County was the CTC for Gulf County. The process was identical to that which we just described. If you'd like to, I can repeat it for the interest of time. We can just reference that. It was the same dates. We did, again, only receive one response to that. It was Big Bend Transit, Inc., who is the current emergency designated CTC for Gulf County. Again, review determined they were compliant with all requirements, and we issued Resolution 26-06, recommending Big Bend Transit to be the Gulf County CTC.
Thank you. Any questions? Do I have a motion?
I'll motion to approve.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Now to Wakulla County.
Yes, ma'am. So this one started identical to the other ones with an RFQ that went out January 14th. It was with this deadline being the same as the others, January 28th. In this case, we received two responses. That was Big Bend Transit, Inc. and Wakulla Senior Citizen Center, doing business as Wakulla Transportation, who is the current CTC. Upon review, both were deemed eligible applicants and met the statutory and code requirements that had experience, qualifications, integrity, and reliability to serve as a CTC. As such, ARPC issued a request for proposals on February 2nd that was open for 3 weeks. The submission deadline was February 23rd. That was also advertised in the Florida Administrative Register, ARPC's website, and the local newspaper. ARPC received 2 responses. Again, Big Bend Transit Inc. and McCullough Senior Citizen Center doing business as McCullough Transportation. ARPC followed their established procurement process and to determine which vendor would move forward. After ARPC staff compiled all the results from the scoring committee, it was determined Big Bend Transit was the highest scoring applicant. Therefore, ARPC made the recommendation through Resolution 26-07 to recommend Big Bend Transit as the highest scoring applicant to serve as a CTC in Wakulla County for a 5-year designation.
Okay, we'll move into questions now on this one. Somebody want to start?
I'll start. So given the turnout from Wakulla County, what is realistically in our authority to do something other than the recommendation? What can we realistically do?
I'm going to tag in Rochelle here. She's our resident legal expert.
You can't see me, I understand. This is Rochelle Munson, I'm your general counsel. I'm also going to tag in the director. Can you hear me? I need to confirm that.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it okay? I'm going to tag in the director of the commission as well. Based on the statute, your role is to approve the recommendation or not approve the recommendation. The statute does not specify anything else. So what you can do outside of that, I don't know if there's any history to what has happened previously regarding a situation of this nature, but I would like for the clarity to be made, and we need to read the language of the statute into this record. That is also not probably a bad idea. I heard a lot of comments about there's some background noise, so please excuse me, someone on the phone, I don't know. But I would like to note there have been some comments about what this body has the authority to do. You could just ignore the recommendation. You cannot just ignore the recommendation. I'd like to clarify that. Can you overstep the recommendation and choose something else? The statute does not speak literally to that either. It speaks to this particular statement that you have the authority to approve a recommendation, which would leave the converse, not approve the recommendation. So, Madam Director, Ms. Somerset, is there any historical reference that you would like to give? I know that there are concerns with a deadline. Again, the background noise, and I want the record to be clear. I don't know where it's coming from, of a deadline, I believe, of June 30th to meet the requirements that are set for disbursement. But Ms. Somerset, if you can add with regard to any historical references you may provide to the commission. I don't know if Ms. Somerset heard me. I am not hearing anything, so. Karen Somerset? Did we lose audio?
Maybe. So I can hear you, but I can't hear them either.
Ms. Powers, are you
I don't hear
available?
anything.
Ms. Powers?
Can you text one of them, let them know maybe? I don't know if they can hear us.
I cannot even tell who's in the room, so I do apologize. I just see the commission panel and that's it. We cannot hear Karen is what the chat is saying. Okay. I'm told that they will have to reconnect. They're working on it now.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Technology. Here's something I don't know.
Can you hear
what.
me online?
I do now.
Okay.
Okay. Historically, the commission has either accepted the recommendation or rejected the recommendation and requested the planning agency to do an additional procurement process.
And all for full disclosure.
Or can go through the procurement process again.
But is that a
What would that
requirement?
mean, though? Timeline, what would that mean, though, Ms. Somerset?
That would mean the planning agency would need to do that procurement between now and I would hope it would be finished soon enough so that the commission meets again to make a decision.
So is this guided under Florida state procurement law?
As I understand it, yes.
Okay, so I also know then that if there are only 2 respondents, you can go into immediate negotiations with those 2. But they wouldn't have to go through a traditional procurement if they were directed to go back and reevaluate, correct? Michelle?
If that question was directed to me, I did not have firsthand knowledge about that procurement process.
Okay. Mr. Gillis, would you like to answer that for us in here? Where did he go? Oh, are you an attorney? Oh, okay. No, then we'll just stick to
The commission is not usually directly involved in the procurement end of it with regard to that level of, with that capacity. So I will be uncomfortable speaking firsthand regarding what that process will entail if there are only 2. Not disputing that that would be the case, but will not speak firsthand to that.
Okay. Sure.
I wanted Ms. Somerset, however, to clearly identify the deadline and what the impact of missing that deadline would be.
Understood. Go ahead.
She hears me.
I believe it's approve or deny the recommendation.
No, that is it. That is the choice.
Yes, at the recommendation of the planning.
Of the planning agency.
Yeah. It only says approve, correct?
Would you repeat the statement?
Can he speak in the microphone so the other people online
okay.
can hear?
Where precedence is, we can't, I recall your request, which was to award it to somebody else. I don't think that was in our ability to do. I think we can either approve or deny what the Regional Planning Council has recommended. So we'll keep moving forward on approving or denying what the Regional Planning Council has said. So, Travis, did you get enough of an answer? I know that wasn't as clear as you probably had hoped. I also feel the same way. But my understanding from what they have all said is that we can either approve or deny what they have recommended. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Follow up? So the next question then becomes, if this commission rejects the recommendation, what does that look like? Do we know, or has this happened in the past, where it had to be pre-procured or sent out for bid again, the impact it's going to have to services?
Services will continue to be provided through June 30th. So if a commission meets prior to that and makes a decision and it's to change the CTC designation, there would need to be some transition. If there is not a change to the designation, then they would begin services July the 1st. There may be an opportunity, if it takes longer for the procurement process to be complete and the commission to meet, we could offer the opportunity to extend the current designation for an additional time period to allow that procurement to be completed, if that's the pleasure of the commission.
Thank you. Additional questions?
I was going to ask, and I believe it's already been answered, that it is the APR or ARPC's requirement to follow Chapter 287 for procurement, the Florida statute, correct?
Correct.
And in this packet, how many of the other applicants had multiple applications in one service area?
During a designation or?
So like in Wakulla County, there's 2 applicants who went out for the procurement across the board because the 3 previous to this only had 1 applicant for each. How many more have multiple applicants?
He may not know that.
In our region, it's few and far between. And there are other areas, more urbanized areas of the state, in my experience, where the competition is greater. In our very rural area, neck of the woods, it's often cost prohibitive for another entity to come into the area. So it's very few and far between that we've ever had 2 bids on an application.
Director Somerset, do we have any other multiple applicants that we're considering today?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
Yes, just to clarify for the options that are before us today, it sounds like it's approve or disapprove, and if it was a disapprove, it's on coming into it. That then would send it back to the procurement process, potentially, is what I'm hearing. And then it would go into procurement, or if we need to explore that a little bit more to what exactly that could look like, because at the end of the day, it comes down to making sure that there is no disruption in service, right? We want to make sure that service is being provided continuously without disruption of coming into it, regardless of how it comes into those. So I just want to understand what that looks like of our options to ensure that there is no disruption, regardless of how the outcome comes at the end of the day, but making sure that we have that continuity of services coming into it.
So what I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we either accept or reject what's before us, but then we do not dictate how they procure something post that. So if they choose to go negotiate just the 2, but they still follow 287, it sounds like. But I'm not certain that a whole new procurement process would be mandated. I don't think we do that. That would be up to the decision of the local planning council, correct?
Right, because there were 2 that responded to our initial RFQ. I think negotiations would be only with those 2 entities back forward.
Okay. That I do know.
Okay. Fast.
For a follow-up on that, if we were to go negotiations, so the timelines on that one too would again be to make sure that negotiations are finalized prior to the June 30 date, right? So that services, or if there's a transition period, can all come together.
I think that we would also need to plan, we could either just do a meeting on this topic, or we would need to fit it into our next meeting, which I think right now we're looking at the 2nd week in June.
Right. Okay, because it would then need to come back to us to approve, regardless. Okay, to approve. Thank you. That's good.
Is that okay? I don't know if this question, you are the right person for this one or not, but someone alluded to it not being the recommended entity.
I can speak to that. So oftentimes, we obviously buy-in from local is important, right? So we bring the recommendation back to the local coordinating board, basically for their blessing. The LCB serves an advisory capacity to the CTC, and having their input on that is important. We had 2 members of the LCB serve on the scoring committee team. When we had that meeting, and I have it in my notes here, there were 10 members present, 3 recused themselves from the vote, 3 voted in favor of support, 3 voted against, 4 voted against. And the 4 members were also clients of the center as well.
Okay. You do not have a recommendation from
the ARPC, the body that is in charge of that. We do, yes. The ARPC recommended this. The local coordinating board was kind of split decision on how they felt about it, again in an advisory capacity. But the ARPC, like our board of elected officials, approved staff's recommendation to move forward with the highest scoring applicant.
So who is that board that did not?
The LCD, the local coordinating board in Wakulla County, which is made up of your Department of Children and Families, your Elder Affairs, representatives.
These are all appointed individuals, though, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. Appointed by whom? The local government?
By the
you?
ARPC,
Okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's the board that did not, they voted
They didn't offer their support, right. There was no authorization.
No, I recognize that it's not a
Correct. Right.
requirements, but they were not supportive of your decision.
Correct. Right.
Okay. Do we have someone from Big Bend Transit here that would be willing to come up to the microphone? Hello, sir.
How you doing?
Promise I'm not, okay.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay.
I appreciate the passion in the room.
Will you state your name and your role there?
Sean Mitchell, General Manager, Big Bend Transit, Tallahassee, Florida. I'm sorry. Sean Mitchell, Big Bend Transit, Tallahassee, Florida.
That will move up too if you'd rather have it. Is that better?
Thank you.
Okay. Would you mind answering questions from the commission too?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Does anybody else have questions for him or just me? Oh, okay. Okay. We did hear some concerns from the citizens. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to address some of those. I know some of that was written in your response, but I just wanted you to be able to answer on the record if that's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I did hear, that you all, there was concerns that you all would not check on people who no-showed.
Not true. So we're in 7 counties. We probably do a lot of transportation for elderly, disabled, people with disabilities, individuals that just don't have transportation. We're in 7 counties. We do over 100,000 trips a year. So our crews are very in tune with the disadvantaged transportation folks. In our counties, we're not a big company. We're a nonprofit. All our services are local. We actually have places where our drivers and our operations staff work out of in each county. As it relates to Wakulla County, Big Bend Transit was looking to manage Wakulla County to expand transportation services in Wakulla County. But at the core of this service, it's going to be local because we're going to be partnering with the Senior Citizen Center. We're going to be hiring their staff. Like I keep hearing about these 13 folks that are going to not have a job. Big Bend Transit is going to hire those people because who knows the community better than the people that live there? Who knows the community better than the people that's already doing the transport? Big Bend Transit is going to bring just an additional level of management as it relates to transportation to leverage some things to expand transportation because as you all know, Wakulla County is growing. So we cannot continue to do what we used to do yesterday in trying to go to tomorrow. But the core of this thing is the people in this room with all this passion, and I appreciate it, the drivers, the dispatchers, the transportation manager, we're looking to cooperate and bring those people into our system and let them to continue to provide the services that they've been providing to the people of Wakulla County. But we just want to do more than what is being done. We're looking to provide more service hours, more service days, more cost efficient. As it relates to the county, as I heard one of the other speakers speak to about how it's a line item in the county's budget to provide a certain level of money. As you all know, budget's tight in counties now. Big Bend Transit will be able to provide that local match. So that would be a burden that would be off the taxpayers of Wakulla County. Even as it relates to procurement of vehicles, we will be able to provide our own match for those services. So we'll provide more service, provide more trips, more cost efficient, but still using the local workforce and fostering a relationship with the community of Wakulla County. That is our goal.
Thank you. There was another concern about rides outside of the county.
Big Bend Transit travels all over the state of Florida. We have a fleet of over 90 vehicles. I heard a lot of these places that they named. We go to all those places and more. And more.
You do provide rides to, I heard Panama City. And
absolutely. We're in 7 counties. We go to Panama City every day. We go to Gainesville every day. We go to Jacksonville 3 to 4 times a week. As I said, we're doing over 100,000 trips a year. So all these locations that they might go sparingly, we go all the time, daily. So
also heard a concern that you all would not have picked up somebody's equipment when they had a medical emergency. Is that something you all?
Compassion. We have compassion. It's stories of like some of the commission staff can speak to where folks have had rides in our area, in our service area, and we're stranded on the side of the road. We got them rides back down South Florida, Central Florida, emergency management. We provided services in Wakulla County to folks that needed services free of charge because, like I said, we're a nonprofit. So when it comes to compassion and transportation, that's all we do. We don't have any other type of business model. We provide public transportation for the transportation disadvantage of the surrounding area. That's what we do. We're transportation focused for all individuals needing transportation.
So there was a concern about the drivers not communicating with the passengers, but I heard you're committing to hiring
the drivers. The passengers of Wakulla County will continue to have the same drivers that they currently have if those drivers choose to come on board with us. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is your ride request time? Meaning, are you only offer week out planning?
No, ma'am. They can schedule out up to 14 days in advance on Transportation Disadvantaged program.
Okay.
Because those funds are limited and we do have to manage those funds. So it's 14 days, which is 2 weeks out. As it relates to individuals that with health problems, maybe cancer, maybe dialysis, things of that nature, we do what is called subscription trips, where we put them on standing order. They don't even have to make arrangements for their ride because if they have been in a situation from a medical standpoint where they need these services multiple days or whatnot, we go ahead and put them on standing order. They don't even have to call in for those trips. They're already there, standing order.
Okay. I also heard a concern about your phone availability.
Our operation, they can call our phones, talk to an individual person. They can actually schedule their rides online. They have the ability to get text messages about what's going on with their trips. They can get phone calls about ready times or reminders about their trips, or they can actually just call our line. So we have multiple ways for individuals to contact us.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And then there was a concern about trip charges, the one-way or round way.
Yeah, I heard that comment to it. So actually, in our proposal, we're going to have fare free for the first year in Wakulla County. So the patrons in Wakulla County won't even pay a copayment. And after that point, our copayment is actually lower than their copayment. We charge $3 per trip for TD-related trips. So it doesn't matter if they're going to a local trip or they're going to Tallahassee. The rate is the same. And also our rate model style, we do by trip versus what they currently do down in Wakulla County. They go by miles. So what happens when you go by miles, the longer distance the trip is, the more that trip is costing. So we believe in cost efficiency. So we have a trip cost. So it doesn't matter the distance of that trip cost is the same. So we're able to provide more trips over our cycle of our contract.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And then do you charge for an individual to bring an assistant or somebody to help them?
A personal care attendant is not charged, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. And then are you planning to open a location in Wakulla County?
Absolutely. That's one of my concerns about some of this conversations that we're having now, because we need to start planning so we can get a location down there and get set up with the phone, start setting up for training, things of that nature. So the timeline is very crucial for us because we want to get moving, because July 1, we want service to be smooth as possible.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
I do, please. Yeah. Thank you for those, and thank you for being here to talk through those questions that come up today for it. I was able to read through the transition plan that y'all had outlined as well too, and I know you've covered a good bit of that through your comments today about staff being hired on, having that onboarding process, the ability to vehicles coming into it as well too, and extended services for those. Is there a way that you can speak to, I know you came on as the emergency provider for 2 other counties recently, of how you transition those services, of making sure that customers could transition to a new service like yours. What did you do to communicate how to do that, or how did you help with making sure that rides that were scheduled to do it, maintained scheduled to do it? Because I know that's been a part of your transition plan as well too, to make sure that if you have one already scheduled, it stays. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I'm glad you asked that. So, you're speaking about Franklin and Gulf County. Emergency designation, we were notified in June. So turnaround was very quick. We keep a high volume of spare ratio vehicles in our fleet because we're kind of regional. So we was able to move a lot of our vehicle assets down there. We had to stay in hotels down there. Me and my staff, what we did, we went out in the community. We got with all the stakeholders. The CTC that was actually going out, we got control of their database and migrated all their data into our system. I mean, it was some long nights doing that migration. Did you know anything about migration? That's a heavy lift. And also what we did was, so in that process, those that we really could identify, because a lot of their records wasn't the best records, which why that designation really took place anyway, because some things that wasn't right. So what we did was we did a grace period for those individuals that we really couldn't identify if they truly qualified. We gave them a grace period to get qualified. And so for that first short period of time, we transported who needed to be transported while we could identify who truly was qualified or whatnot, because we didn't want to leave nobody, out in the dark that really needed a ride, that really the paperwork wasn't right, wasn't no fault of their own. It was because of the previous agency. So that's how we transitioned that. And what we did, we also, a lot of those folks had been using that phone number for years, in which we would want to do in this situation if possible. What we did, we purchased the actual phone number for the local folks so to still have that continuity of not having to learn a new phone number and all that, because they've been on the same phone number for over 20 years or whatnot. So that's how we transitioned that.
What was the timing on that transition? How quickly were you all able to do that?
We had like 3.5 weeks on that turnaround. God, I wouldn't want to live that again, but that was something. But I would say this, that was actually 2 counties, and one of those counties did about 2 times the level of transportation that's getting done in Wakulla County. So the trip volume was much higher in one of those counties than it is in Wakulla County. But it was a heavy lift. And when we transitioned all those employees, we got the background checks, we got the drug and alcohol tests, we trained them up and hit the ground running. Those people are still employed by us now. We've actually added a couple of drivers to that one of those counties. One of the counties is not where we wanted to be, where we're trying to ramp it up, and because a lot of folks didn't depend on the transportation as much, so we're trying to grow that system. But that transition, we made it happen. So we have experience with doing the transition.
Any other questions?
Madam Chair, this is Ms. Munson, if I may. I just wanted to, if I can be heard, I just wanted to identify the statute 427.013, and it states that the commission has the purpose of carrying out its function. The commission shall, sub 11 of that says, approve the appointment of all community transportation coordinators. If this commission chooses not to approve, I would only suggest that you give a reason for doing so because of the way the statute is worded.
So give that to me in plain language. So it's approve or deny, correct?
I think the statute can be interpreted that way. Yes, ma'am. I wanted to read the statute language verbatim. As you know, with any legalese or any language, there's opportunity for interpretation. So, but that's why I wanted to make the specific language clear for the record.
So within our purview, we are only able to approve.
It says, in carrying out this purpose, the commission shall approve the appointment of all community transportation coordinators. In that language, okay. I just wanted that to be stated for the record. If you choose not to, identify a reason why. Which I
we don't even have. We don't even deny. We approve or we table. Okay.
Okay.
What the lawyer is
Thank you.
telling me.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any more questions?
Do we have any other questions? Okay. I would like to give Ms. Edwards the opportunity to respond to some of that. She's still here? Oh, there she is. Thank you for coming back up.
Hi, no, absolutely. You know, as I said before, I believe Wakulla County has made its case that we understand Big Bend's abilities. We understand Big Bend's, the counties they serve. We understand our ridership and what our riders need and what our riders want. I do want to question your attorney in regards to the statute, 11, approve or deny. I believe at this point, and I mean, I'm not an attorney, but I am familiar with Florida statutes, is that approve or deny the recommendation. So your local coordinating board last month, the people that are elected on the local coordinating board for the Transportation Disadvantage Committee, they declined ARPC's recommendation for Big Bend Transit, your local coordinating board. And to bypass that, which of course y'all have the authority to, is basically a kick in the face to your local residents in Wakulla County that represent your riders in Wakulla County. Your local coordinating board said, no, we don't want Big Bend Transit. We don't want to go with this recommendation. That is not what is best for Wakulla County, and our employees. So, I mean, regardless of, with all due respect to Sean and his big plans, he serves 7 counties. We serve Wakulla, and Wakulla is all we want to serve. We are not a conglomerate. We know our citizens. We know our riders, and we know what they want. We're not trying to take over, the panhandle. We are one transportation partner, and that's all we're really concerned with. But I am concerned about this statute and, approving or denying the recommendation of ARPC, irregardless of your local coordinating board's recommendation. I mean, what your local coordinating board for Wakulla wants. So I just want to clarify that y'all can approve or deny or appoint. So you want to, and Chris, if I'm wrong, can you deny the ARPC's recommendation for Big Bend Transit and start over? Or can you say, I'm just saying, this is just, idealistic, you deny their recommendation and say, well, you know what? We're denying your recommendation and we want to appoint this other CTC coordinator.
No, ma'am,
That's
that
in your
authority
power.
is not,
That
that
is
authority is not in statute.
Okay, can you clarify that?
That authority is not in statute.
Can you expand upon that?
I can't expand legislative intent. I can just read the language of the statute. This is how your legislators have written this statute. In carrying out this purpose, the commission shall approve the appointment of all community transportation coordinators. As the chair has indicated, there is a safety net in saying approve or table, and I will support that. But just overstepping the entire process, overlooking the procurement process, and making an independent decision outside of statutory authority is not permissible.
So today, we're either going to approve or we're going to reject what is before us. So we are not, sounds like.
I understand.
So that's what's before us. But I wanted to just ask you a few questions about what you said too. So the trip cost, is that, they reported that it would be $3 each way after a grace period of a year. How all do you all charge for your trips?
So we have co-pays. We work with insurance agencies. A lot of our trip costs we work through Transportation Disadvantage to establish our trip cost. I'm not familiar with Big Ben's, trip cost. And I don't have, of course, the information in front of me, so I apologize. I'm unprepared. But for most of our trip costs, we either have a small copay, we investigate everybody's insurance policies. If they're transportation disadvantaged, there is no trip cost. Seniors are brought to and from the center for free every day. If you're a senior over the age of 60 and over, and you want to come to the center and then leave from the center, and there's at least 30 to 60 that see us every week, there is no charge for them whatsoever. We cover that charge through the income we bring in through transportation.
Okay. Can you, you're with Wakulla Transportation.
Yes, ma'am.
And then Wakulla Senior Center is a separate entity?
So we're Wakulla Senior Citizens Council, and then we are Wakulla Senior Center, but we DBA as Wakulla Transportation for our transportation provider services.
Okay, so are your budgets commingled or?
They are.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for me? Just coming back to the trip cost, what's coming on to that one too. I know we had talked about a per trip versus a per mile, which is coming into it. What's your average per mile?
Well, no, it's not per mile. We have standard trip costs depending on if they're going to Leon County, or if they're within the county. It's a totally different scenario if you're going to, say, you got to go to Shands, or you got to go to Mayo, or you want to go to Panama City. That's pretty much it. There's a lot of variables in our trip cost, and that we try to work out the best with their insurance companies as far as copays. Some pay nothing, some pay $7. If you're just paying cash and you want to go to Leon County from Wakulla, it's a $10 flat rate, and we don't charge for a caregiver. It's accompanying a patient, to a doctor's appointment, and that's round trip. Yeah.
So do you have a structure?
We do.
Okay.
And we have to, with transportation disadvantage, we go over that, our fee structures every year.
Thank you. Who approves those fee structures? Do you submit it to the CTD?
Yes.
It every year? It's not for approve. It's just submitting.
They review our fee structures. Yeah. We submit an AOR, and it goes into the next budget year, and so that's the way our fee structure.
Regional Planning Council. The Appalachian Regional Planning Council is who you're talking about? No, the CTC.
No, CTC.
Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of acronyms involved here, for sure.
Yes. Okay. There's actually not a mechanism for asking questions, but you know what? I'm going to suspend the rules for you because you've been very patient waiting back there. Do you want to come to the podium and ask?
Who's waving? Oh, this is our chairman of the board. Yes, John Cuff.
Chairman of the board of what? That's what I want to make sure.
Senior Citizens Council, Inc., Wakulla Senior Center, DBA, Wakulla Transportation.
Okay, so you're the boss of all of it.
I'm herd kittens, I guess, chairman of the board. No, I just wanted to point out, I went through the CTD annual reports for the various counties, looking at, with all due respect, looking at Sean's record in those counties. Last year, again, we got an A+ rating at our last meeting. Our ridership went up 20% last year, 20% in 1 year. And you look at Madison County, look at Jefferson County, and Gadsden County. All three of those counties are handled by Big Bend Transit, and all three of them went down in ridership last year. I think ridership is a major indicator of what we're trying to get done here. So I just wanted to point that out. There are two other counties that they have. I think they're acquiring them during the course of the year, but the numbers stayed the same on both of y'all's reports. There's an individual sheet on each county, we beat them hands down.
Oh, can you expand upon the nature of that 20% increase? What type of ridership?
I'm sorry.
Can you expand upon that?
We went from I think it was around 15,000 to 19,000 riders last year.
Do you have
in 1 year
the nature of the trip or what the?
Well, it's all over the spectrum. I think last year we did 4,400 trips for medical. We did about 2,500 trips for education, taking people to TSC or wherever to get to where they're. Oh, that's and you get some of those trips too, right? But a lot of it is, like I say, a lot of it is medical. A lot of it is nutritionally based. We do a couple thousand trips. Try to do it on a weekly basis to take people to get them to Walmart so they can get groceries. I mean, it's pretty broad spectrum.
So I am actually the appointed person for workforce. So can you tell me how many of those trips were for employment?
I'm sorry.
So approximately 18% of our trips are for employment.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Donna here, she has employees that we.
I missed that part.
It's okay.
Of course, at Wakulla High School, people that are transportation disadvantaged that are unable to drive themselves, we take them to their jobs.
Thank you.
Yeah, we don't call out trips because of a cost factor. If somebody in the county needs to get someplace, we get them there.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission?
Ms. Edwards?
Ma'am?
Oh, good.
Thank you. We appreciate y'all.
Okay. So now, I think we should probably move into final questions. Are there any other questions from the commission for anyone else? Or we should probably move into a discussion on this one then. So for me, I have two concerns. First is that although I know it is not required, I do think that the local recommendation is important. So that concerns me. The second, and I will ask, well, I guess it's technically a question, but I did look for it, did not see it in there. There was no cost comparison. I saw, submitting of financials, but not a cost comparison for trips within the procurement process. Can you expand upon that at all?
As far as comparing the costs for each trip for the two applicants?
Correct.
I cannot. I was not part of the procurement on that, so I won't be able to speak to that, unfortunately.
Okay. Anybody else want to?
In listening to all the conversation today, ask of the residents of Wakulla County, the services that could potentially be provided by Big Bend Transit, my biggest concern with this is state of Florida procurement. We've only had one area that has had multiple people apply, and I'm concerned with the quality of the rubric, or that there is a potential or perceived potential that there is a problem with the solicitation and how it was actually scored. And without being able to see that, that brings up many concerns. These other areas, not so much. We've had one person apply. It makes sense that they're going to end up probably getting that if they don't have any major deficiencies. So with this, that is my biggest concern, that we could be outside of what Florida statute actually says we should be doing for procurement.
Anyone else want to?
I agree with you both. The most concerning part for me was the scoring, the talk about the scoring, and not having names of the scores. That was also a concern. So I do agree that there are some outstanding concerns that if we had to make a decision today, I'm not completely sure if we'd be making the most sound decision if it was in.
Any other commissioners care to speak?
I agree with the comments that have been said from here as well too, and I appreciate the community that's come up and spoken and been a part of this process that's coming into it. It really shows just how important these services are in our communities and coming to it. It took two companies bidding for one for us to have this kind of robust discussion that really shows, though, how important this service is to a community, to individuals in that community, and what that means for quality of life that's coming in behind it. behind the process on this one, it's ensuring that, yes, procurement process is maintained, that it's doing the way that it's supposed to as laid out in Chapter 287. That is something that we as state government and local government have to make sure that they comply with coming into it. I agree that it sounds like there may be some questions that come into the scoring rubric and the matrix that's coming into that we haven't had a full time to digest what that looks like, right, in order to make that approve or disapprove decision today. So it's on that, and then understanding what that second chance would look like of our options of a board right here in a commission, and ensuring again too that any sort of continuance or transition does not disrupt the community, does not disrupt what is currently going on while we try to figure out what is the most appropriate and what is the right path forward on this one to ensure that everybody is maintained that service that's coming into it. So there is concern, again, with this one that's coming into it, but I am very grateful that everybody came today too to discuss it, to bring it to light, to bring how important this service is across all of our communities and all of our states of coming into it. So I just want to make sure that the best decision is made and the most appropriate decision is made to have those services continued.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith. That turned off. Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners care to speak? Okay, so I would like to say first, we very much appreciate all of you taking the time to come here, voice your opinions. I think this is, obviously our great Constitution in full display, and I appreciate that so much. So I want to make sure you all felt heard, you felt like you got the opportunity, because that is really important to me, and I know it's really important to the rest of the commissioners up here that you all were able to voice your concerns. I actually do not have any concern that either organization can deliver services very effectively. That has been demonstrated to me very well, that both will serve the community and will serve it well. I still am going back to the fact that I also believe in local control and local choice. And so the fact that we do not have that local sign-off is very concerning. Sounds like many of the other commissioners have a concern with the procurement process just because we were not a part of it, and that is perfectly acceptable. For me, I do think a cost comparison, a direct cost comparison, is very important when we're determining these because these funds are limited. And so I think that for me, I would love to see that. So I think at this time, we need to take it to a vote for either approving this, and then can we also make recommendations post, or what do we have to do, Michelle?
You can make a motion to approve it. If that motion fails, then I guess you'll see where it goes from there.
Okay, so that is our option, is to make a motion to approve, and then if it fails, then we decide what to do next.
Exactly.
Okay. So, Myla,
Sorry, can we not do a disapprove and conditions as to what comes with?
I think we make a motion to approve, and then you would say nay if it's not approved. That's what she's saying. Gotcha. Okay.
And then from that, it would go into back to the regional planning.
It would go back to the regional planning council, but I would like to make recommendations on it coming back and then have a plan for it to come back if that's what happens. Okay. I would like there to be some certainty for either organization for whatever transition or continuation.
Yes. Okay. Timely transition.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So who's going to make the motion to approve this? All right. I guess I'm doing it. All right. So, or can we just take a vote, or do I actually need a motion in a second for this to be official?
You actually need a motion in a second.
Okay. So I will move to approve Big Bend Transit as the provider in Wakulla County. all, oh, hold on. They're telling me this is how I have to do it, okay? Okay, well, it hasn't happened yet. Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Was there a
I do need
second to that
second.
motion? Was there a second to the
I'll
motion?
second
Only
the
because I,
motion. Thank you,
okay,
Commissioner
thank
Smith.
you.
So all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. Nay.
Nay.
Oh, anybody abstaining?
I would like that.
Okay.
Did someone abstain?
Can't hear you.
Yes, I abstain.
If you abstain, you have to identify a conflict. Normally, you're not allowed to abstain without a verifiable conflict. Every member has to vote without a verifiable conflict. Such as recusal for a number of reasons, bias.
I think regardless, it fails, even with that abstention, correct?
The record will reflect then that everyone voted. Okay.
Pardon me?
Then the record will reflect that everyone voted. I just wanted, because by statute, no one can abstain without recusal.
Okay. Are you okay with that? Okay. All right. So the motion fails. So what I am going to suggest is you all come back and let's make a plan for when that is exactly. It can be a virtual meeting or call it, I'm not going to call this an emergency meeting, but an emergency type meeting where I would really love for you all to go back to your local communities, get buy-in from the group that is supposed to have a recommendation, go through your procurement process. And then also, I would love to see a cost comparison. So I don't know the timing that you all think that would take, but I want to put that out there for you.
Okay, so what's the directive then from you all on timeline and what the next steps
Well,
are?
you tell me. I don't like. I recognize that this is not conventional, or that you expected this necessarily. So what would you want?
I'm not a legal mind. That's why I'm asking. I don't know if I would have to talk with the TD attorney to figure out what the next steps are. Do we have to rebid the entire thing, or just the two applicants? Does it have to go back out to the world? Do we just start back at 1A, 1B, and then continue the process again? I don't know if there's protests involved. I have no idea what the next legal steps are. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. So what I'm going to instruct, because I want you all to have representation too with your council.
Sure.
So why don't you go back, ask those questions, figure out a reasonable time. It can be 1 week if you want it to be, and we will hold the meeting to be able to do this for you all very quickly. We recognize that this is a timing on both sides.
And is the board's desire for this to come back before the June meeting, or is that what the desire is for timeline?
That is up to whatever works for you. If you all want it next week, we will hold an emergency meeting. We'll do it virtually, and that way we can do that quickly. But I want to make sure that you all have time to go back.
And then you want me to report back through Ms. Somerset to you all with?
We'll just give her the timing that you prefer,
Gotcha.
and then
Okay.
she'll communicate with us.
Yes,
But for me, and I'm going to let the other commissioners speak too about what they would like to see within when you do come back with information. I would like to see a cost comparison between the two. And then I would also like to see specifically who's on that board that did not approve, or what vote they had, and what organization they were from, or to get the sign off from the board. Anyone else have requests for what they would like to see? Sounds like you wanted the scoring sheets with names.
I just want to ensure that any steps that are taken, it is within Florida statute. So whatever that looks like, whether it's negotiation, reprocurement for Wakulla County, reprocurement for the whole planning area, if that's what's required, that we do that and get it expedited. And that internally, we've also evaluated what that would look like and whether or not an extension to the current transportation CTCs would be needed, depending on what that looks like. That way we do not have a lapse of service.
Can you please mute online? Anybody online, please mute your phone. Thank you. Any other commissioners care to? Okay, so if he comes back with those items as quickly as you feel doable, then we will be ready to approve your recommendation.
Okay.
This is Ms. Munson. May I just make a note for the record that, again, if it's not being explicitly approved, I think the information is being set back because the information submitted was either defective or deficient in some form, and the commission is requiring more complete information regarding the recommendation that it was presented, because ultimately a decision will be made on the recommendation presented. If it's modified, if it's changed, but the vote will be on whatever recommendation is presented by community transportation, regarding the community transportation coordinators. It's being sent back because of some deficiency or defect is what I think the record will reflect.
This is Commissioner Vargas. I have a question. Could we recommend that the applications be reviewed again by a different review board? Because I think, at least for most of us, that's the concern. Is it irregularity in the scoring? Is that a possibility?
I'm going to ask Ms. Somerset to address that. I'm sorry, I can't see where Ms. Somerset is. I don't know if there's any type of authority to designate a different review board. So Ms. Somerset, maybe you can speak to that.
I believe if we change if the planning agency changes the people that are on the review committee, that will throw the whole procurement process out. Right. And it will need to be done again.
It sounds like maybe they just need to go back and see what those options are of coming into it, as discussed earlier, ensuring that Chapter 287 is followed of coming into that one, and whether or not that allows for that ability to come into negotiations with the two name.
If that was not presented to us, so if the case is we just threw out a procurement, then I would like to revisit, because that was not what you all said was going to happen. So that is not the instruction. It's not a need for a new procurement. We just need additional information from the current procurement.
Right.
So if that's just if I need to go back and redo and table this, then that's what we'll do. But I don't want that to trigger a new procurement.
Understood.
Okay. Rochelle, is that what I just did? Because that's giving me mixed messages.
Yes, I think that's yes.
Yes to what?
Yes, that is what you just did, and I think that is more permissible than the other option of starting this process entirely over again with an entirely new.
So our vote, I want to be very clear, our vote did not just restart a procurement process. Is that correct?
That is not what you guys voted on. That is correct. Again, that's why I wanted the minutes to reflect that it's being considered for additional information because of some defect or deficiency presented in the information provided.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we are done with that, correct?
Correct. I don't know if you want to secure a timeline with this meeting. I don't know with staff how
I need
difficult
him
it's going to be.
I already asked the gentleman here from the Regional Planning Council to communicate with Director Somerset on what is a timeline that can work, because we've asked him for a significant amount of information. I want to give him the appropriate amount of time to do that. But we will be ready to have it brought back, even if we need to do a special meeting just for this topic.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we are moving on. Seeing as how everyone else, since we've already established this, we have just a single applicant for all the others, am I able to approve these as a group, or do I have to go through each individual one? Pretty sure I can put them together.
You may do
All right,
them by
we're going to do
consent.
that.
You may do them by, if I may, you may do them by consent agenda if you can confirm with the commissioners that they don't need to discuss any particularities about any of them.
Okay. Commissioners, are we all okay approving this as a group?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes. Okay. So I have consent. So do I have a motion to approve all other designations as presented or as recommended?
This is Commissioner Barrios. I move to approve. I motion to approve.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, so just for clarity, this will be Baker County, Clay County, Duval County, Putnam County, St. Johns County, and then the single county designation, Charlotte County, Hillsborough County, Lee County, Pasco County, and then DeSoto, Hardy, Highlands, and Okeechobee. Okay. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now we'll go to the proposed 2026 commission meeting schedule. Our next item is the proposed 2026 commission meeting schedule. This is already not correct. So June 19th is a no. The other ones I have not looked at. So what do we want to do here, Karen? As a result, we are proposing June 11th instead. Okay.
Correct. I'm sorry. June the 11th. And we're also asking to consider our meetings beginning at 2 to give the individuals in the Panhandle an opportunity to participate if they would like, since they're on a different time zone. I think in the meeting package you see we proposed like the September and December meetings to begin at 1. We ask if you consider doing it at 2.
Why would they not be able to participate at 1?
It would be noon time for them. We just had a request for consideration. I just wanted to present that.
Okay, from who?
From individuals in the Panhandle.
In the Panhandle. Okay, so they're asking for it to start at 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I may ask, is June 12th a possibility or no?
No.
Yeah. I was going to say, based on the responses I received June the 12th, we would not have a quorum.
All right, so that is, so it's not correct on this slide. So it's June 11th. September. Okay. September 17th and then December 17th.
I was trying to establish more of a schedule of so we would have an expectation of when our meetings were.
June 11th. Has everybody had the opportunity to check this on their own calendars? They have? Okay. Does anybody have a conflict with any of these dates?
This is Ms. Muncy. I may have a conflict for the afternoon of June 11th, but I'll see if I can find coverage.
Thank you. Is there a way to move it earlier in the month of December? I just think the later you get, the more people start to be gone for the holidays. Is there a particular reason we did that week?
In December?
Date? Yes. Does anybody happen to know the Leon County school calendar in front of them at this moment? That also matters significantly to some of us, including myself.
I don't have it in front of me.
Oh.
I had just picked the third Thursday for each month. It was not any.
Don't have it? Okay, I would prefer just out of, I know that that's when they start to end. don't know when that will end that week. So if we can move December to December 10th, I think that might be easier. In an abundance of caution. Does anybody object to that at this point? Okay, so we're proposing then June 11th, September 17th, and December 10th. Start time of 2 p.m. Oh, glorious. When do they release them all in December? Yeah, 2026. There you go. So yes, we can move it up the week before. That just usually is a week of party and half days. Okay. All right. So June 11th, September 17th, December 10th. That's tentative for now. Okay. I don't think we need to vote on that. Okay. Next, we have the Innovation Service Development Grant Program. There was a individual asking to speak online that I think we missed in the initial round, so I'm inviting that person to speak now. Who was it? Ross?
Thank you very much.
Ross Silver?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
This is Ross Silvers from Pinellas Suncoast Transit Authority in sunny Pinellas County, Florida. Thank you for your time today. Appreciate it. I just wanted to express our appreciation to all of you for continuing to support the Innovation Service Development Grant. This came to us back and when we first started the funds. It actually was a project that had been started by a different organization and they weren't managing it well, so the program ended unexpectedly. And in fact, that organization is now defunct. And then the then executive director of the Commission for Transportation Disadvantaged came to us and said, can you please help restore this service? We have so many people requesting it. And so we were able to do that using private partners and TNCs to provide pretty cost-efficient service that's gotten really high marks in evaluations. Over 120 people are using that in the current month to get to places like Moffitt Cancer Center, the VA hospitals, to work, to school. So it's a really vital service without, to this day, any other comparable service out there to cover the 3-county area of Pasco, Hillsborough, and Pinellas. And so really, I'm just encouraging you to keep the criteria that's in the grant the same for the year ahead. That'll enable us to continue to innovate. We intend to propose adding this year shared rides to have even greater cost efficiency and keeping a vehicle or two off the road. So thank you for your time and I appreciate the continued support.
Thank you. Okay, at our last meeting, we discussed the importance of clearly defining innovation within the program as compared to other federal and state initiatives. Karen, can you please provide an overview?
Certainly. As you stated, Commission asked for staff to go back and review the program, give a little bit of history about the program and why the name is what it was to make sure that innovation fell into the expectations of the grants that we were awarding. Based on the information in your meeting package, you see that we did review several other programs at a national level from other states, as well as other funding agencies like the Federal Transit Administration, the Community Transportation Association of America. They have similar programs like ours, and innovation in their programs are very similar to the innovation definition in our program in that it is very broad. It would test pilot projects as well as expansion of services, meaning it could include expansion of days or hours of service, as well as the different types of services that they would be able to provide. So innovation is, like I said, definitely defined broadly. And so the projects that we've awarded historically are being consistent with that. And I understand you guys had some concerns about sustainability of our projects. So I think that could be something that we expand on in the criteria of the application packages to have them provide us with a sustainability plan as they submit their application for their project. And I think that kind of touches everything. The name, a little bit of the history and the intent, as well as some examples from some other projects in other areas of the country. So today we just asked the Commission, would you like us to continue with the name of that program and continue with the criteria that we have in the application package? Would you like us to add or make any changes, focus on anything in particular, so that we can know where you all want us to go and be able to get it out, issue it out so that we can get projects turned in so that we can have some recommendations to present at the June Commission meeting. We'd like to start them July the 1st. If we get the budget authority to support this grant program, because this grant program is funded through proviso language. And since the legislation hasn't made that final decision yet, we're certain that we have the funding to support it.
Did you include the application in the packet here? Because I'm not seeing it.
No, ma'am, we did not. I believe I sent that out a while ago as probably one of our first conversations we had about the program. We can definitely send it out again.
The original application, though, we amended it the last time to have information provided as to how they would move or how they would continue to operate the program once the time limit was up, correct? Is that still on that application?
Yes, it has been on that application. We've always asked for them to kind of talk about how they're going to sustain the project. We just don't get a lot of information other than, well, if we don't find funding for it or get funding for it, then it's not a way. There's a few projects that have incorporated service. I know Pinellas was just speaking their late shift where it was after hours for work purposes. They did incorporate that in their normal operating service, but for the most part, a lot of the projects that we have not incorporated it. And even in the research that we did, unless they're getting public transit dollars, because a lot of them are reducing routes and doing the micro transit, which we've also awarded, they can just kind of shift to that. They're not really, but other agencies don't get additional funding. So if they're doing extra trips and they're not being able to incorporate that for whatever reason, like you said, it's a give and take. They're going to have to reduce something to keep this project going, if that's what they decide to do. I don't know if that made sense or confused more. We do request the information. We just haven't had a good success on that.
Okay. I'm not confused by what you said. Thank you. Okay. I would like that to be a mandatory required response. And if there isn't a plan, that puts you down on the ranking. I want that to be a higher scoring, or focus. Because I think if anything you're starting, I think it's very important to have a plan to sustain it.
I agree.
I agree. And I think in coming to that one too, just making sure that that's a more robust requirement that comes into it, right? Because the goal is to be able to try new things and come out and do it, but to let them then continue it. It's not supposed to be a forever funnel that comes into it. Mm-hmm. That's what we're trying to just ensure. Do you have a plan of if it's going to be successful because you feel like it will be and you want to pilot it, then how are you going to take that on as it does become successful and identifying those more than just saying, well, we'll redo something somewhere else. We need more of a robust conversation on how they're going to continue that service should it prove to be successful.
I know we suspended the, I'm going to call it a rule, I'm not calling it the right thing, but the timeline previously. I think we should reinstitute grant only has a maximum lifetime of however many years. I don't know what that should be. I believe it was 5. Is that correct? Or is it 3?
It's 4.
4.
Yes.
I think the
Right or
4
wrong?
came up, we originally had in
3.
mind 3 because we were trying to mirror some of DOT's service development grants, what they call service development. And then we had a couple of applicants that we awarded that were not able to even begin their project the first year because they had some procurement problems when they were trying to procure operators. So they provided no service at all the first year. So we thought maybe because if there were situations like that, we could give them an extra year to go. So everybody kind of just went with the 4 years, and that
Understood.
the backup.
So I think 4 is probably a good number. Does everybody like that one? So each grant will only have a maximum time frame of 4 years total.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So my question is, if at the end of 4 years, which is the maximum of the grant, and I'm not opposed to a time limit, let's say there's nobody else in that area that wants to try to pick up services or has something innovative. We're going to drop services the clients are using and not fund them at that point. I just want to think about that. I mean, should there be language that if you have another entity come in after 4 years, then the other entities have that chance for procurement and you may not because you've already been on this for 4 years. But if there's nobody else providing the service in that area, are we doing a disadvantage?
I appreciate that perspective. I think that it should be the applicant. So if it is a whole new provider and they have some, I think their timeline should restart. But I also think we have many others who are also applying for these. Like we had more applicants than we did dollars the last time. So I do think we need to at some point let others try.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
innovation too.
No, and I absolutely 100% agree. There should be, again, there should be sustainability. There should be a plan in place. If you've had the opportunity to have this grant for 4 years, then we should give someone else an opportunity to have this grant. It's just those instances where there isn't somebody else trying to pick up the grant in that area, which is, again, just for ridership.
Yeah. But, no, I hear you. I just think that I don't want to limit the innovation component to, well, because you don't, I don't think innovation should be required to be geographical. I think that if another entity has a great idea, that we continue to.
We were saying someone on the East Coast has the ability to pick up another grant, and we're not going to keep funding someone on the West. I understand what you're saying.
Just I want to provide, because that also seemed to be something, is that once it was sort of taken, people didn't try again, so those people were up. And so I think we need to
spread the wealth.
Well, we need to allow for additional innovation. With where we're going with transportation in this moment, I also am I think 4 years is maybe even too long in this moment because we could have flying cars by then. Let's be real, right?
Yes, we will. And then it'll get to,
we're going to have helicopters. I've seen your
we have helicopters.
Yeah.
Coming to that one too, great perspective as well too, and good discussion on it. I've also maybe just making sure that as part of that grant check-in process, that at a 2-year mark or different, are you still ready to have that taken over? Are you still ready to continue moving it forward? Because it's one of those and making sure that, yes, they have that plan on the front end, but it's up to us too to make sure that we're checking in as part of that grant management too of, are you still good? Is there another funding? Did it fall through? What other opportunities are out there? What is your plan now that's coming in? Because it is a dynamic world and system and governments and funding that changes. So as those are doing that, I think it's incumbent upon us too to have those checkpoints as well too, and not just say, hey, in 4 years are you good to go, but have some check-in points at maybe year 2, especially year 2, but then absolutely at 3 of how it's coming.
Yeah. Well, they do reapply each year, correct?
Yeah.
I just know we have traditionally given precedence too.
And maybe that's part of the questions if it changes too, of how is your plan that you submitted your first year still your plan to be able to accomplish it?
Because if you, I mean, you're suggesting this, but we could remove the precedent as well. So it's, you apply every year. Whoever is the most innovative that year wins the opportunity or gets the opportunity to. I think that's hard for entities who are.
I think we could talk structure that one, yeah, and
So,
see what impact that would be of coming into it for consistency and
Yeah.
making sure.
I don't want people to be afraid to try, because there are investments up front to trying something new.
Yep.
Okay, we'll table that one for now, but is everybody happy with all of those things? Anything else? Anybody have ideas or things they'd like to see on the Innovative Service Development Grant Program? I am not interested in changing the name. That's just me.
I don't know if it exists now, but maybe part of the discussion of sustainability could become how are you leveraging partnerships in your local area to not just maintain, but to expand. And so maybe that becomes a part of the discussion as well.
I love that. Okay. You have enough to go on to add our additional information at this point?
So all I heard was add sustainability, and we are going to implement.
I don't love that word, but yes.
Okay. And then the 4-year is coming, no? I missed that part then.
Right, we're not limiting it. We're going to make them apply each year.
Which we do anyways.
Yeah, they're going to apply each year, but it's 4 years max.
4 years max, okay.
Got it.
And exploring, asking them as part of the sustainability, what if they're leveraging local.
Not exploring. That will be part of their
part of their application. Okay.
We want to plan to a continuation plan. It's a required response. And then I would like to make that response a more highly weighted for consideration.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay. Now we can move on to the status of rules review. Our General Counsel, Rochelle Munson, will provide an update on the status of rules review. This is an information item and does not require a vote. So, Munson, if you could expedite your
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be brief. I'll be brief given the time of the afternoon. The information is informational to confirm with the Commission that pursuant to Section 120.5435, 20% of the rules of the rules for this commission has been reviewed, and report was due by April 1. It was given to the governor's office for review and properly submitted by the April 1 deadline. The rules you see designated in your materials did not require any necessary changes, and that's the information with the addendums that you see, the attachments that you see pursuant to the requirements of Senate Bill 108. So I just wanted to update. We currently don't have any rules in rulemaking, and of course, whenever there are, we'll update our rules report to reflect so. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you please move to the appropriate slide then? I know they're online looking at that. Oh, okay, we didn't have a slide for that. All right, moving on then to the adverse incidents report. Next is the adverse incidents report. Karen will provide a summary of the reports received.
Yes, ma'am. This is a report on the adverse incidences that we have received from the period of October 1 through December 31st, 2025. You see, we've broke it down a little bit more. We continue to try to provide you information based on the different categories. We've also provided you with a chart of the entities that are required to report and the entities that are not required, but that we are receiving reports from, showing the different numbers for each of the categories. The current form asks for a narrative of the incident that occurred. So it's very difficult at this point for the staff to go through those narratives and determine exactly what happened and be able to break them out into the different categories. So we're going to be working with DOT to explore a new format for the reporting form, a new template, so that that information can come in more data-based and through an electronic means, so that the staff doesn't have to read everything and interpret what may have happened. And we hope to have a new form to provide you all, or at least the elements that would be included in that form, to let you know what those are at our next commission meeting.
Will that be done through Commissioner Smith?
Yes, we'll be working with DOT. And hopefully DOT and their IT department help us with some of that.
Okay, great. Of the complaints, were any there any of note that we should be concerned about, or are any of these of concern? Or were they not any health or life safety issues or anything that was?
In situations where there were, the driver was terminated.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Move on to the executive director update then. So I do look forward to what options you all come up with. Okay. Oh, okay. Here's more.
Yeah, I mean,
unattended minor. I'm going to need you to expand upon that one, please.
Or we can go through the slide if you'd like. I'm asking.
You can.
Are you?
Can you just expand upon the unattended minor?
I'm sorry?
For inappropriate behavior. Some of these are, I just want to make sure none of these are.
So on the unattended minor, it was when the driver showed up to pick up a rider, they noticed an unattended minor.
Okay.
So it's nothing.
Unrelated.
Yes.
Okay. Inappropriate behavior.
Some of the riders that are on the vehicle sometimes express themselves in different ways. So it's noted, and then they are counseled at a different.
That was all rider. Okay. 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 Anyone else have any concerns with any of these? All right. All right. So we can move on to the executive director update. Karen, do you have any updates for the commission?
At this point, just that we're going to continue to monitor legislation when they come back to meet on the budget. There were several bills that came through, but many of them, especially DOT or transportation related, died. I don't know if they'll be coming back during any type of special sessions, but we're going to continue to monitor that. Also wanted to let you know that the Florida Public Transportation Association met last month, I believe it was, and voted to do a study on our funding formula. The staff is also looking to contract with a consultant to review the funding formula to be able to provide us with some recommendations we can bring back to you all.
What group is
it? It's the Florida Public Transportation Association.
The private sector.
A private nonprofit, yes.
The association.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. They're concerned, they've heard from several of their members about the formula and the funding allocations, and so they wanted to look at the elements of it and come up with some recommendations for the commission to consider.
I look forward to that. Okay. Next, then, do we have any commissioner updates? I'll open the floor to any commissioner updates. Welcome.
Thank you. As you can see, I'm not Robert Doyle. No true updates. I just want to put out there that the Division of Blind Services is celebrating 85 years. Thank you. We're excited about that.
Thank you all. Okay, we will move now into the second public comment segment. At this time, the floor is open for public comments on any topic relevant to the Commission's work. Again, public comments will be limited to 2 minutes. Do we have any? Oh.
I wanted to again say thank you for all of that. That was a very long, a lot of those people, it took a lot for them to get here. So I appreciate y'all being patient with them. And no, I'm not related and I don't know any of them, but I just wanted to say thank you. And also I wanted to find out who is it that develops the rubric or scoring method for that procurement process?
I believe it's the planning.
Okay. I'm just curious because I think a lot of that in there was very subjective, which led to a lot of the confusion and this. So I was just wondering if maybe, if you're not going to do it, if maybe one of us can touch base with them, if you know who I need to speak to, and just, make sure that they know our concerns and see if there's a process before anything gets started and we go through this all over again. I just want to make sure that we take out all of the things that don't make it a level playing field. So what would be your suggestion?
I would, I don't want to call them out, but I would actually, I don't think they're going, I do not, I guess we will see what they come back and say. I do not they will go through an entire process again. It may be more of a negotiation between the two, but I believe that gentleman right there would be the best one.
That one right there?
Speak with.
Very
Not
good.
just, sorry.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I just wanted to do that before I left here.
Yeah.
I know you guys are all ready to go home.
I was going to say also, if there is, and I'm not sure, there should be a procurement officer within the agency. That might be also the person you want to speak to.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Okay. So the ARPC is who I need to direct.
Their procurement officer who actually built the solicitation for questions is usually a comment. And we're past all that, but that's the person you'd want to reach out to.
Well, we appreciate you being thorough. So thank you.
Thank you. Any public comments on the,
I'm sorry, who was the lady that just spoke?
that was Miss,
Okay,
Miss
thank you.
Savory. I don't know how you forgot that. That's the best last name I've heard in a long time. And then this is Mr. Russell, who I'm
Yes.
not related to. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we're not related to it, and now you are glad I made that disclaimer, aren't you? I just wanted to apologize. It's not really in my nature to speak out of turn, so my apologies to the whole commission for that. Thank you for taking your time to volunteer and do this. I really appreciate that. Sorry to struggle on so long. The only request I would have coming out of this is on the coming out of the next step is could we get clarification if the motion failed for the one entity, can it go to the next entity? The clarity of that. So if the motion failed for Big Bend Transit, is there the opportunity for this board to vote on the other solicitor at that point?
Let me, so what I'm going to do is direct our general counsel to go get specific guidance on whether we are allowed to do that and if that's within procurement rules. And so we'll have that for when it gets brought back up.
I see you have that, and you have rule review going on. I think Parent 11 would definitely help a lot of people. You know, it went straight to, your role was to award, but then there was so much vagueness on that, and no one wants to read it in vagueness. But again, I want to apologize for that. Stuck around. It's been a long day. Thank you all so much. Appreciate all you do.
No apology necessary, but thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I do
All
have
right.
a question before we get done, please.
Can't see who that is.
I'm sorry, can
I believe
everyone hear
it
me?
might, yes, I believe it's Mr. Corbin Aspinwall.
Yes, that's me.
Go ahead.
I just have a quick question, guys. I live over here in Escambia County. I'll be brief. I know it's been a longer meeting than usual. But I've been following these meetings and joining them for the last year. And my question is in regards to adverse incidents. Every meeting, it's a different form. We're doing this. In this day and age, you're telling me that there's no type of technology or program already out there that can do this electronically, some type of reporting system, something. And if there's not, why has that not been put into a procurement mode? Why is it taking well over a year to make changes to a paper form when, like I said, in this day and age, you should be able to have some type of electronic. I believe her name was Karen, mentioned that the DOT IT's department is going to look at it. Have they looked to see if there's not already something out there that could come in and they could do some type of beta test with or something? I don't know. But I just wanted to ask that question. Appreciate your time.
I love that you asked that because it's funny you say that. I have specifically asked Director Somerset this question multiple times when we've done our briefing. So that is why they are going back to the Department of Transportation's IT department to figure out a way to streamline this, because you are 100% correct. In this day and age, there's got to be an easier way. This was all brand new. We did not previously even collect this, so we are evolving. But that was why she brought up the fact that there will be recommendations on how to ease this moving forward.
And I do understand that, but the DOT is part of the state. Why not do a procurement on the state website and see if there's not somebody that already has a system out there that could work and go through a
So
procurement
we
process?
sit under the Department of Transportation's umbrella, and so if that is what that may be what happens, but we have to go through the Department of Transportation for assistance with that. We can't procure things on our own.
Okay, so that's not a decision that this board would make. It would be a different board with the DOT?
It wouldn't be a board necessarily, but the Department of Transportation would have to help us release any sort of solicitation like that.
Okay, so I guess that's where I'm a little confused. Who actually makes the decision to go into trying to move forward with that? Is that you? Is that you asking the DOT to do that?
So we're an appointed commission. We direct the staff to go back and do things like that. And then the Department of Transportation, I anticipate they will be open to helping us as long as there's funding available for that, because that is another limitation. And so if there is funding available, which we have not received that there is or there is not at this point, but if there is, then I think that would be the next step.
Okay,
That
so
would
that
have
would
to
be
the
something
Department of
that,
Transportation, IT department would have to help us with that too, and their procurement department.
okay, so that would be something that, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm misunderstanding. If the funds were there and they decided to move forward, they would move it. The next meeting would be, or the next scheduled meeting, they would maybe put that into a procurement mode, possibly.
Possibly, it would depend on what I think they're going to. Go ahead.
No, thank you. I mean, it's exploring options. We may have some capabilities already.
Yeah, they may already have.
So we don't have to go to, and that's where we're trying to find those efficiencies, ways that we can create this type of system and maintain a good database and be able to create those baselines and pull out those elements that are pertinent to this body to look at and come into it. So that's for DOT to look at. What are those options? What do we already have? What does it look like? What are the needs? And then how can we best fit those together and coming into it?
Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem. Any other public comment? All right, seeing none, if there's no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion?
Get a second.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you all for your time and participation. This meeting is adjourned.